All right, body paragraphs. Okay, we're going to work on this. I'm going to try to model this as closely as possible to what your process is going to be. Okay, so I've always said it would be probably not a good thing if your English teacher could not write a paper, or if your math teacher probably couldn't write the problem on the board and work it out for you. This is my example. You don't have to use exactly what I'm using. You don't have to write the exact words. I'm just modeling the process. If I use bigger words than you use, I should. Okay, I'm going to try to write like a freshman. That's difficult for me to do. Okay, I'm not bragging. It is what it is. Okay, I don't use words you use. But in the same fashion, we're supposed to be writing this in a professional tone. So you should be trying to elevate your language at least to something that is specific to your sources that you got them from. Okay, now taking that into account, we're really trying to write to our audience, but we're still not trying to use like gonna, shoulda, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's what I mean by kind of a professional or a scholastic tone. Okay, that's the voice here that we're using with our facts from our paper. Okay. That being said, just like all the other assignments, if you have not completed one of these on the ladder, you need to climb that ladder till you get to this point. You can't write your body paragraphs until you get your introduction written. Okay, which you just copied and pasted out. Okay, you can't do your intro until you get your outline done. You can't do your outline until you get your sources highlighted. All those things are building blocks going on up the ladder on its way up. Okay, so if you're finished and you're graded and you're ready to move on to the next step, this is the next step. All right. So when I open up this assignment, I'll zoom in so we can see it a little bit better. We need to open up our paper that we've pasted the introduction, the outline on. That was the last process that we did. That was the last assignment. So if you want to follow along and do that as we're going, mine's right here. I've already got it open. Okay, remember we're supposed to save all that stuff in a folder. However you did it, do it. Okay, mine was in my drive. I opened it up from here. I kind of jumped the gun just a little bit. Okay. Going back to my instructions, I would leave this tab open just so that I could see the instructions and refer back to them. This has your process here. Okay, so step 2 actually has a bunch of different steps with it. Okay, this is the blueprint for your paragraph. Okay, written in kind of a bullet point. All right, just telling what it is. Honestly, you're getting most of this stuff from your outline. You're going to get your topic sentence level from your outline. Okay, you're going to get your concrete details from your outline. What comes from you is your commentary and then your summation sentence. Okay, I didn't even finish this thought right there because you guys kind of sidetracked me a little bit. Okay, but that's what I'm trying to accomplish all 3 times. Okay, so I'm doing this for all 3 paragraphs. Okay. Turn in the paper to this assignment. You'll do that when you're done with all 3 body paragraphs. So you'll repeat the process for each paragraph in this. And you got till Friday, okay, to get this done. Okay. All right. Use the documents and the video to help. We're working on a video right now. You guys are getting it real time, okay, that are in this class. Okay, the report example document that's down here, this is the full thing. It's already done. The whole paper is written. Okay, it's got a works cited, it's got parenthetical documentation done on it. Everything is commented off to the side on what parts that you need to know for writing the paper. Okay, I did that quite a while ago, but it still works. This is the document I'm using, okay, for our demo. This will kind of change as we go. This will have a little bit of work done on it. I'm going to actually mimic the process here to get to this. Does that make sense? Okay, so I've already got this one open. This is the representation of you opening up your paper. Okay, we're going to do this first paragraph here together, and I'll kind of show you how we use what we've done so far on the paper to work for us. All right, now we've already copied and pasted this introduction paragraph It has my thesis statement there at the end. We're going to start writing after that. Okay, so I'm going to click right here by the last word here, myths. I'm going to push enter. It's already indented for me. That's how I'm going to write my first paragraph. Now you notice I have my outline, okay, right underneath this. Okay, this is my first, okay, Roman numeral. For some reason when I edited this, it kind of cut that off. I just reattached it there. But this is my first Roman numeral, so this is my first body paragraph. So I'm starting to write this thing. Okay, so my first sentence is my topic sentence. I need to write a topic sentence that is going to cover what I'm talking about in this paragraph. And this paragraph is all about the origin of my person. I have Zeus. Yours is going to be a little bit different, but it should reflect the information that you looked up about this person. Okay, so Zeus was the youngest son of Kronos. Kronos, I learned as I was doing my research, okay, was king of the Titans before Zeus actually existed. Okay, so I'm going to use that idea, okay, of origin as happening early, as happening before something else happened. Okay, so that's my idea. I'm going to introduce this is his birth, but it's also the beginning of him becoming who he is. These stories are all special and all a little bit different on who you have. Okay, for some of you, it might not even have talked about when this person was made or born or anything like that. Your origin is really where they became who they become. Okay, like they become the god of whoever they're the god of. They become the hero that they, however this works for you. Okay, this is just an example of how it works for me. Okay, so I start off, I'm just going to write this sentence here. So before Zeus ruled Olympus, his parents, Titans, were, I might want to spell that right, Eddie, masters of the universe. Okay. Zeus was the son of the most powerful of the Titans. Okay. He was the youngest son of Kronos. Okay. So I've worked from my topic sentence, okay, into my first quote. Okay, so I'm trying to work into using my information. This is where I'm at. I just wrote my topic sentence. Now I'm working on my first concrete detail. This will be fixed later. Okay, but we're setting up our quote each time we're given one of those concrete details. Okay, that's part of it as well. Okay, so to set that quote up, I've got it right down here below me. Okay, I need to introduce that Zeus was the youngest son of Kronos, and paradoxically, he is both the youngest and oldest son. Okay, I'm going to have to make that work. Okay, so what I decided to do here was just say that Zeus was the son of, and I kind of gave a little bit of a description here of Kronos. Okay, but I'm working up into this idea here. Okay, so he's the son of the most powerful of the Titans, and, okay, that joining word helps me get to this. You see what I'm using there? That's just a conjunction, right? Okay, so conjunctions, both the coordinating kind that I'm using here, you don't have to know the difference, okay? And the subordinating kind, like while, before, all those different ones, I'd used one to begin with, okay, are going to help me join these different ideas that I have to present as quotations, okay? So that idea, just putting and, then I'm just starting here with my quote. And I can use technology to help me out. I can copy that, paste that, okay? Now, after I paste material, okay, that comes from a source, that's the reason that I had you guys do this extra step here. I want to prove where I got it from. Okay, so I can actually copy and paste this if I want to, if I did it right. I want to have that period outside just like that. Okay. Now, something good to do after I write, read it. Okay, so I'm going to read it again. This is just a process that I go through. You don't have to do that, but I do it. Before Zeus ruled Olympus, his parents, the Titans, were masters of the universe. Okay, that makes sense. Zeus was the most powerful of the Titans, and paradoxically, Zeus is both the youngest and oldest son of Kronos and Rhea. When I read that, that's my concrete detail, I realize that part of this, actually the whole thing, this quote is kind of confusing. Okay, I'm going to have to explain that. Okay, that's what this commentary step is for. Okay, I'm literally just making it make sense. Okay, so that's kind of confusing. I need to explain that a little bit further. Okay, so I'm just going to explain it. Okay, how this is possible comes from the story of Zeus's birth. Okay, and I've got a story about that. Okay, here's my story of Zeus's overthrow of the Titans. That was part of my research that I did. Okay, so I want to get to this. All right, but I read about that. Okay, I read about that. I have kind of an idea, okay, of what this story is about. So I'm going to kind of paraphrase this story, okay, and kind of tell a little bit about what I read, but I'm using this as my information that I know, okay, to kind of make this make sense. Okay, I'm going to work into this quote later, but I'm going to save that part. It's a little bit more specific. Okay, but how this is possible comes from, okay, the story of Zeus's birth. I'm going to jump right into kind of the nuts and bolts of it. I'm going to kind of summarize this. Okay, so Zeus's father, Kronos, feared that one of his children would overthrow him because of, God bless America, of an ancient prophecy. Look at Google helping me out there. Okay. So he ate each of his children immediately after birth. He did this trying to beat the prophecy and hold on to his power. Okay? Now, did that kind of sum it up? Did that make it make sense? Now, does that make sense why Zeus is both the youngest and oldest son of Kronos and Rhea? It's close. Okay? I'm trying to explain it. How this is possible comes from the story of Zeus's birth. Zeus's father Kronos feared that one of his children would overthrow him because of an ancient prophecy, so he ate. What did I leave out? How is he both the youngest and oldest? I got to tell the rest of that story, right? Okay, I don't have that rest of the story in my outline. So what do I need to do? Back to the drawing board, okay, and find something from my source. I need to go back and read that, okay, and find something that would fill in the gap, okay, from this explanation. I need some more explanation of the story, okay? So to do that, I can just go back to one of my sources. See if I can find that. Okay, so I've got that right in my thing. I can go here and look. I did lots of jobs and stuff right here. Hey, there's my quote. That's where I got it. Okay. All right, I'm going to read some more here. Wisdom on advice, blah, 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 blah. That's it, no problem. Okay, this is a little bit about it. Man, I'm looking. I didn't really see it there. We go back up to the top and looked at that again. Ah, there it is. Found it. Okay. Zeus would have been eaten himself if Rhea hadn't slipped Kronos a stone wrapped in swaddling clothes in place, hiding her youngest child in a cave. Okay. So what do I need to do? Man, I can copy that thing. Make sure I know where it's coming from. I put this up top. Okay, so it's coming from Zeus Greek mythology here. Okay. Go back to my outline. I'm going to go ahead and just paste that in here somewhere. Just so I have it. I'm not really worried too much about the formatting. It kind of screwed up on me. No big deal. This is a working outline. Now I want to copy and paste this because this is my citation, right? Go back down. We'll put my citation there so I don't forget it. We'll put that dude in parentheses so I can just copy and paste it here in a second. All right, now I've got some more idea here. Okay. All right. So Zeus would have been eating himself if Rhea hadn't slipped Kronos a stone. I like that. That kind of helps explain what I said in this quote, doesn't it? You guys see where I'm at? Okay. All right. So he did this trying to beat the prophecy and hold on to his power. I'm going to copy and paste this stuff up here. Okay, now I'm going to have to do some things here. I'm going to take out this link. Just right-click on it, remove the link. Right-click on it, remove the link. So any of these things that escaped on me right here. I'm going to make sure this thing isn't bold anymore. Make sure this thing isn't bold anymore. And this is just stuff that I'm having to do because I copied and pasted it. Now I copied and pasted it from something that's not on a research paper. So I just make a Times New Roman 12-point font. Boom. Now it looks like all the rest of the stuff. Okay. It's a new quote, but it's still a quote. Got to put my quotations around it. Then I got to use that thing here. Tell where I got it from. Boom. Want to make sure that's the same format, and it is. Okay. All right. Now let me read it again. And I'm just starting with my commentary here. How this is possible comes from the story of Zeus's birth. Zeus's father Kronos feared that his children would overthrow him because of an ancient prophecy, so he ate each of his children immediately after birth. He did this trying to beat the prophecy and hold on to his power. Zeus would have been eaten himself if Rhea hadn't slipped Kronos a stone wrapped in swaddling clothes in his place, hiding her youngest child in a cave on the Cretan mountain Ida. Okay, I've just got to finish that up. This is how he is both the youngest and oldest child. That's the end of my commentary. Now, that turned into a kind of a squirrel chase, didn't it? Okay? Not a huge deal. Okay? It's not a huge deal. Remember, I'm trying to show you how to fill in some blanks that, hey, maybe I needed some more research right there. Maybe I needed to, find something from my source. It's always okay to go back to find better words than you have yourself in one of your sources. Maybe that source is going to fill in the blank for you. For us, I think it worked pretty well, right? That filled in the blank pretty good, didn't it? Okay. Now my next step. I've got my next idea in my outline, okay? I've got to tell this story of Zeus being set free, okay? All right. So how do I get there? All right. I just told you that he came to this island, right? So I'm going to use one of these words, remember, because I'm trying to transition here into the next quote. While does a good job. Okay, so while on the island, or while in the cave. And I've got my next quote right here. Boom, that's ready to go. Just copy. Paste that bad boy. I don't want that extra thing right there. Zeus was raised by nymphs and met his first wife, Metis, or Wisdom. On her advice, he masked himself as Olympian cupbearer and tricked his father into drinking poisoned wine. The wine made Kronos vomit so much that he ultimately disgorged Zeus's siblings, in act and ready for revenge. Okay? Good quote. Don't forget. Got to tell where it comes from. That's right underneath that quote. Again, I'm just copying and pasting. Put the period after it. Boom. Now, I've got to write commentary on how that all makes sense to Zeus's origin. Okay? He didn't just make Kronos vomit. Okay? The rest of that, they take over. They beat him up. Okay? They take over. I read that in my stuff. I learned a little bit about it, so I'm paraphrasing with this, but I understand kind of what's going on. Okay? So I can just simply say that he overthrew his father after he sets his brothers and sisters free. Okay? Because that's literally what my quote just told me. I'm just making that make sense. Okay? And trying to tie that into the overall idea of Zeus setting his brothers and sisters free, and we know what's going to happen next because we know what this dude's job is, right? He's the king of the gods. That's going to lead to him actually being able to do his job. That's why we set these up with origin, job, and then interesting fact, because they lead into one another. Okay? So, with the help of his brothers and sisters, Zeus overthrew his father and took power over the Titans as king of the Olympian gods. Okay? Now, I got that from one of my sources. I just paraphrased it. Remember, like I was reading it and I kind of learned something from it. I'm just using my knowledge of when I read that. Okay? And I'm going to use that site because a lot of these said the same thing. I'm just saying I got some of that information from there. That's where I learned it from while I was doing my research. Okay? All right. Now I need a summation sentence. Or do I? Okay, this is that choice that we have. Sometimes you need one, sometimes you don't. Did I write a topic sentence? Yep. Did I write a concrete detail? Yes. Did I have commentary about that concrete detail? Yeah, we spent a lot of time on that. I even used another quote to help me with that, right? Did I write another concrete detail? Yep. Did I do commentary on it? Yep. Okay, so I'm at the summation sentence. Okay, so this is the point to where I'm going to use my outline. Okay, I'm done with all this stuff with one. I can delete it. But I got to look at what's next. Okay, what's this dude's job? Zeus is the god of the sky. He is the king of the Olympian gods. What did I literally say right there at the end? He's going to become king of the Olympian gods. Do I need to summarize that? No, that's segueing right into my next paragraph. That works pretty well. It's probably going to do some of the same stuff for your guy. It's just kind of lucked out with that one. So I didn't have to write a summation sentence. I'm just going to start off my next paragraph. Okay? Now, this is this first paragraph. I'm going to repeat this process for each paragraph. Okay? Each paragraph. My next paragraph is about this person's job. I lucked out that my last quote, actually I didn't luck out, I picked it on purpose. Okay? But I lucked out here that this introduced my person's job at the end, okay, of my origin paragraph. That's lucky. Okay, yours doesn't have to do that. You can have a summation sentence if you need one, but it needs to have a transition into what the next paragraph is going to talk about. Mine does, so I'm going to leave it alone. Okay, so did I have a summation sentence? No, but I didn't need one because it was so close in transitioning to my next paragraph. Okay, so I push enter, and then here we go. What just happened? Well, Zeus just overthrew his father and became the king of the gods. Okay, so I'm going to mention that. Okay. So I go right into my next topic sentence. Now, I used one of these words. It's a timing word, after. Okay, I used before in this previous one. I'm just using these as transitions between one idea to the next. Okay, what happens before? Now I'm working to after. See how I'm working there? Okay, this comes after what happened to him, okay, in his origin. So after overthrowing his father, that's what just took place. Zeus became king of the Olympian gods. Was that his only job? No, I got a couple of these things. Okay, I got a couple of these things. Okay, so I've got to introduce, okay, that he's also, okay, he is also the god of the sky. Does that make sense? So the process starts all over again. I've got to introduce all of my ideas in my subsequent paragraphs. Okay, so process, topic sentence, set up my quote for my first concrete detail, get my concrete detail from the outline, commentary about it, work into my next quote, looking for any holes, work into my next quote, which is my next concrete detail, give my concrete detail, comment about it, and for us, I even added another quote, which could be considered a third concrete detail. Okay, so my main point in showing you all this, writing can be absolutely messy. Okay, it's okay though if you sell into the product or sell out to the process. Okay, and just try to work from your outline. Give the material that you looked up. You did all the legwork already. Okay, let your organization work. But if you're missing something, you realize as you're writing, that's when you're thinking about it. Man, I got a hole right here. Go back and use your sources to fill that hole. Okay? Make sense? So follow that process for each paragraph. And if you have trouble, come in on Encore. Okay? There is no perfect way to write. There's no perfect way. But having the outline and having it organized in this fashion helps the process to be the best that it can possibly be. If you follow the process of topic, sentence, concrete detail, commentary, repeat, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat, okay, it works a whole lot better for us, okay, than just sitting there winging it. Make sense? Okay, so the outline on the paper is there for a reason. Instead of going back and forth between 3 documents, trying to pull one from here, there, one from there, one from there, it's already right there in your eyesight. You can actually see the source, right? You can see what your next quote's going to be. That speeds things up tremendously. So this is the most important part of what I think is, learnable from this assignment is use technology to help you out, man. I didn't have to write all that stuff. I just copied and pasted a lot of it, okay? Because I already did the legwork. I used the technology to have that right there in my vision while I'm writing my sentences. I was looking at it, okay? Now I cheated a little bit because I was looking at another screen too, okay? But it's right there, okay? It's right there. That's why we copy and paste the outline before we actually start writing, so you don't have to look back and forth. That is something that you can't do without a computer. Okay? You can't do that. I mean, you take a lot of eraser, and it'd be pretty messy. Like, you could write your outline on a piece of paper, and as you go, like, erase it. But the power of having that right there on your vision while you're writing your paper, that's huge. It was huge for me when I stumbled upon this. Okay? So use that outline. That's the work that you put in. That's the stuff that your sources say. That's the proof that you have. Man, it was super, super simple, right? Now, I know it's going to look easier when I do it than when you do it, okay, but it's the same process. Do I care if it looks as good as what I wrote? No. If you follow the process, if you have a topic, sentence, concrete detail, commentary, concrete detail, commentary, and then some semblance of transitions in between each of those, I'm good. You're going to score very well. But most of your points come from having those quotations and making them make sense. Sound good? Anybody have any questions?